Soinas, oh, the jungle VIP. I don't know what the words say.
All right. Theoretical question. Who would win in a fight? Caesar or Caesar? It's not close, actually, at all.
Yeah, I was going to say...
the actual monkey Caesar?
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Probably the one from the modern Caesar trilogy.
Hinatea walked in on me watching the final on Battle for Planet of the Apes. And she was like, why does he look like that? And I said, I don't know. And then she's like, are there any hot ones? I'm like, well, every time you look at one of their masks, you go, so probably not.
I mean, maybe. She might be into Dr. Zaius.
Yeah, Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
Oh,
Dr. Zaius, Dr.
I was going to ask if you knew the Simpsons meme.
Yeah.
I hate every chimp I see.
I had seen that.
From chimpanzee to chimpanzee.
So before 2016, when did War for Planet of the Apes come out?
2017?
2017 sounds right. So my experience with this franchise is really funny.
Yeah, you started with that one, right?
No. Growing up, I watched the Tim Burton one a lot.
Oh.
I've seen that movie probably 25 times.
No.
And then I had seen the Dr. Zaius bit from Simpsons.
Of course. Classic.
And then in 2017, I went to the theater and I watched War. I hadn't seen the other two.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, a year ago, I watched the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Of the reboot trilogy.
When Kingdom was coming out?
Yeah, and then I watched Kingdom. And now I've watched all of them.
Yeah. Well, you got to watch the 2 TV shows. The live action one they did, which does have Roddy McDowall in it.
When does it take place? Or is it like a reboot?
It takes place shortly after. I watched a little. I had never seen it before. I watched a little bit of the first episode. It takes place in the 80s, I think. So it's like probably like shortly after Battle. Maybe like another 10 years or so. But
it takes place in the 80s?
I think that's what the beginning says.
Because Battle takes place... Well, because Conquest is in 91. Because there's a 20-year time skip between Escape and Conquest.
There's a bit at the beginning of the TV show where they show, like... Because there's another spaceship that lands. It might have been that they took off in 1980 then.
Okay.
Because they had to emphasize the year 1980. I was only watching the beginning portion of it. But yeah, it's like more astronauts land on Earth. And I guess they had been out there for a few years. And they come back and they're like, what is this? But Caesar is alive during this point. So it seems like a soft way to, let's just do Planet of the Apes. But in continued continuity, it's...
And even with less money.
Yeah, it's certainly a lot cheaper.
Because already in the last couple of these, like, man, they are running out of money.
Yeah.
Actually, even in Beneath, just all of these movies don't look very expensive.
The first one holds up the best, and that's because it was the tail end of the 60s. And they actually, like, did a lot. Like, a lot of people think it got snubbed, because I think it came out a couple years before, like, effects makeup was, like, category for the Oscars. A lot of people think it would have been a shoo-in, because for the time it was like pretty good.
I think like that first movie, and in general most of the movies, like the main characters still look good. Like,
yeah, of course. It's
just all the side characters, especially when there's a lot, like in Beneath, when there's like a huge group of monkeys, you're just like, what the
you look at
fuck?
the masks of some of them,
and it's just like sunken eyes, like obviously just like put on.
Yeah. No, by the end it's certainly cheap. Especially when it's like the mouth looks like it's not like well formed on the inside at all. And it's like, But, yeah.
So there was a show. And you said there was 2 shows?
Yeah, because the show had 1 season and I think they wanted to continue it. But they were like, that's a little... The show was cheap, but we need to make it cheaper. So then they did an animated season.
Okay.
So yeah, there's the 2 TV series,
and there's a video game that takes place in between the second and third reboot films.
Yes.
Or prequel films.
The Last Frontier or whatever it's called.
Yeah, which I didn't know about, but now I'm like, I should just play that.
Yeah, I've heard decent.
I've heard it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think it blew anyone out of the water, but it sounds like it hit the boxes.
I'm sure there's also probably like an old like DOS game or something for the first film.
Yeah, I want to say there might be like a PS1 game or something. I feel like I've seen like an Angry Video Game Nerd episode about it, but I don't know. I might be mixing it up with something else.
Oh shit, there's a tie-in film to the Tim Burton one.
Oh, you mean a game?
Yeah, there's a tie-in game.
Oh shit. Interesting.
Well, it was released as a tie-in, but it's just based on the original movie.
Oh, okay. I see.
That's on Windows and PlayStation, and then there's also a Game Boy version.
Okay. Well, I'll have to check those out and see what they look like. But interesting. But yeah, I love to think of the reaction that you are. It's going to be super interesting because I've always loved to think about like the people who have seen the new movies and then try to go back to the old movies and being like, what the fuck? I
think I am probably the best person to do that.
I mean, yeah, but you're definitely of the primed audience for it. But.
You know who watched 4, or I guess 5 of the 6 of these with me though? Pierre.
Oh, I was gonna say. What did Pierre hates?
Pierre was actually much more positive on them than I expected.
I was gonna say he hates apes.
Yeah, but he was like, I can still like appreciate movies.
I bet he fucking sympathized with Dr. Zaius the whole time if you watched that one, right? It's like, he has a point. I could see Pierre saying.
We were watching the third one, and Pierre's just like, this guy's so evil, but I kind of like
the time travel theorist guy.
Yeah, the philosopher, physicist, or whatever.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. Anyway, have you been watching anything else? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, let's see. Most notable, because it's just recent, I'm finally watching the Naked Gun films.
Oh, nice.
So I watched the first 2. And they're great. They're very funny.
Mm.
The first one's hilarious.
Yeah.
Second one is just like, it's like diminishing returns, but it's still funny.
And yeah, the third one is more of that.
So I'll probably watch that. But,
apparently they're trying to reboot it with Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I saw that. It's apparently supposed to come out this year.
I'm kind of excited for it, honestly. I'm excited that there seems to be a push to return to like absurdist comedy, which has been sorely missed.
I agree. Let's just go through. I don't remember when we recorded last, so I'll just what I watched this month. I watched Prince of Darkness finally, the Carpenter film.
Oh yeah,
and I like that quite a bit. Out of that like trilogy, the Thing and In the Mouth of Madness, I think it's easily the weakest, but it was still fun.
Yeah.
I watched Mickey 17, which I loved. I loved it so much I immediately bought the book and I read that, and I thought it was bad. I thought the book sucked.
Huh. Fair. Yeah,
I watched the new Paul W.S. Anderson movie, In the Lost Lands.
Yeah.
Which is based on a George R.R. Martin book. Or story.
It's weird what he can get his hands on.
Yeah.
He has that like Blade Runner spin-off movie with Kurt Russell, and it's like, how did you get what?
And you know, it was just garish enough that I thought it was watchable. Like everything looks insane. It was okay. Yeah. I watched Gunsmith Cats, which is an old OVA, like anime OVA, that I thought was awesome. It's set in like Chicago, and it's all about just like cars and shooting, and it's just really fun.
Huh.
I rewatched Singing in the Rain. Wonderful film. Love that movie. Every time I watch it, I like it more. I watched another old Gene Kelly movie called On the Town with Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun too. Let's see. I saw the new Looney Tunes film, The Day That the Earth Blew Up.
I kind of almost contemplated going and seeing like a Tuesday screening of it or something.
It was solid. Like if you like classic Looney Tunes, it just feels like that. It's funny.
I like the old Porky and Daffy cartoons too. So.
Yeah, then I think you'll like it. I thought it was pretty solid, pretty consistently funny.
Heck yeah.
I watched Michael Bay's Pain and Gain.
Oh.
With-
On a Mark Wahlberg kick, eh?
Marky Mark,
Yeah.
I really liked it. It's really deeply cynical, but it's probably Marky Mark's best performance. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen bits and pieces of it over the years, just from people having it on in the background while I'm like at their house or something. Huh. Okay.
I think it's probably the perfect Michael Bay movie. Like, for what he wants to do, I think it's really solid.
That's fair. I'm kind of a fan, even though it's schlocky and over the top. I kind of like Armageddon. It's like my...
I don't think I've seen Armageddon, which is funny because I've seen like every other.
It's so fucking stupid.
I watched the new Steven Soderbergh movie, Black Bag, which is with Fassbender and Cate Blanchett.
Okay.
And that was just nice, tight, 90-minute like mystery, detective, spy kind of movie.
Yeah.
Another solid one. Really sexy.
Certainly sounds like Soderbergh.
What else? Rewatched Moonstruck. Nick Cage and Cher.
Oh, yeah.
Really good movie. Nick Cage is very hot in it. Rewatched Time Cop. The Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Oh, yeah.
Which famously London did not like 6 years ago before I got into Jean-Claude Van Damme. Don't worry, this time I loved it.
Okay, good.
Watched a new Snow White movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny, because at some point I watched the old Snow White movie, but...
Yeah. A new one? Better than horrendous. Gal Gadot is fucking atrocious in that. In a career of being the worst person on screen in every film she's in, this might be an all-time low for her.
Oh, man.
Rachel Zegler's pretty solid. I do think she's a good actress that's just constantly in bad movies.
Is she who plays Snow White?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I've actually seen her in anything off the top of my head. I'm sure I probably have.
We watched West Side Story.
Oh,
that was her like first performance.
Yeah,
she's great in that. I don't really like.
Pretty good.
It's one of my like least favorite Spielberg movies, I guess, but I still think it's solid, and I think she's great in it. She's in the newer Hunger Games movie, which is my favorite Hunger Games movie, like by far. I think she's really good in that.
Yeah.
But she was solid. And what's funny is I think the movie actually looks pretty good until the dwarves show up. And then every single moment the dwarves are on screen, you're just like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why
I would
do
have
they
just
look like
cast actual little people.
You know what's fucking nuts?
Yeah.
There is a little person in the movie.
I know that they had
it's just like a random guy. I'm like,
it feels like they did.
What the fuck?
Did that just so they could be like, you can't criticize us for not having them. We got one.
I was like, what?
Okay.
There's a nothing character. Like, there are so many nothing characters in that movie.
Yeah. It's the original ones.
Yeah, I don't
like
particularly like the original either. I think it's like fine.
I grew up watching it. I've got a soft spot for it. It was one of the Disney tapes I had as a real small child. I think everyone. It's one of the things I was thinking about.
I only had like sequels on DVD.
Yeah.
Just had all the sequels, like the made for TV one.
It's weird to think that like Disney was able to like multiple generations just like, yep, here you go. These are like in the canon.
Yeah.
It's just, what the fuck?
Which I at least appreciate, like, that's what's scary is like people don't watch old movies unless it's like old Disney stuff. Like, just go watch other old movies too. I promise you there's good stuff.
Yeah.
Like The Naked Gun.
Yeah, I want to watch it came out I think the same year as Snow White, but that Technicolor like Robin Hood movie from it would have been like 48 or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Apparently it's like regarded as like one of the big Hollywood movies of all time, but I've never...
The big Hollywood movies.
One of the big Hollywood adaptations of Robin Hood, more of the spandex kind of without the Mel Brooks comedy. So it's like, I kind of want to check that out. Sounds
Let's
fun.
cover every Robin Hood movie.
It can be like our Christmas Carol episode. It's like, well, here are the differences. But yeah. And maybe a couple of them at some point. It might be an interesting episode. But, yeah. Anything else? Or...
That was mostly it, I think. Yeah. Like, I've seen some other stuff, but those are the highlights, I guess.
My diary. Yeah, the big stuff I've mostly been watching since the last time. I started like I was going to watch through the Disney movies, and then I finished Pinocchio, and I just couldn't get into Dumbo, I guess.
I don't think Dumbo's very good.
I mean, I liked it as a kid, but...
Yeah, maybe it's because I never watched it as a kid, so I tried it as an adult. I'm just like...
But then I watched through the Pirates, the three of those.
There are more than 3.
Yeah, sure.
I wouldn't recommend 4 and 5.
5.
And 5, right?
Yeah, 5.
I saw 4 and 5 in theaters.
I think 3 is iffy enough.
Yeah, at least it's like has a cool spectacle. I don't know why, but I think 4 and 5 look really bad too.
I've seen parts of 4 like when it first came out, but like I never sat down and watched the whole thing. Rewatched The Princess Bride for the first time in years.
Still hold up?
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Okay.
I kind of went through. I think I've talked about this in regards to the Breakfast Club, where it like overplayed by like everybody I went to school with because they had all like watched it for the first time.
Yeah,
and I was just like, ugh. So I kind of developed like just a resentment for it.
Yeah,
not deep. Like I
happens to the best of us.
Yeah, obviously I still liked it and still acknowledged it, but it's like I just don't want to watch it.
Yeah,
and then I watched it. I was like, oh, fuck, that was really good. Then I rewatched. I lied. I did watch One More Disney because I watched Peter Pan.
How was that? I don't think I've seen that in like probably 20 years.
I'd say for the most part, really good. Some really racist depictions of Native people.
I remember that.
I did not, and then I was like, "Holy fucking shit!" Like, god damn. But then I watched Hook. Which I had seen before. I hadn't watched it since I was a kid. When I watched it as a kid, I was always kind of like, meh. And carried that, and I was like, all right, I'm going to rewatch it. I actually really liked it.
Okay, that's what I feel like when I was a kid, I also was like, eh. But yeah. I feel like maybe I just need to be an old man.
Yeah, and I know Spielberg doesn't like it, but I think it's good. I think it's got a good heart to it, and it's fun. There's a lot. Bob Hoskins and Dustin Hoffman as Hook and Smee.
That's right.
So fucking great. Oh my gosh. And yeah, I like it. What's it called? Then I went through a little bit of a Paul Newman / Tom Cruise fest. I know, very oddly specific, but it crosses over at one point. Because I watched The Hustler.
The Color of Money.
And then, The Color of Money.
I haven't seen either. I've heard they're good.
Yeah, The Hustler was fucking phenomenal.
That's the old one?
That's the old one. And then The Color of Money was good. It was a very interesting follow-up. I don't think it's near as good as The Hustler was. The Hustler was a fucking blast. Okay. I loved that. That made me want to watch a bunch more movies from that era.
Okay, cool.
That I hadn't seen before. Then I rewatched A Few Good Men. I watched Top Gun for the first time.
I don't like that movie.
Yeah, I didn't much care for it either.
I watched that right before
boring.
The new one came out.
But
everyone was like, the new one's incredible! And I thought it was good.
Yeah, I'll probably watch the new one because I think my roommate wants to watch it because he really likes that movie. He had never seen the original either. And he was like...
Did he like it?
I think he overall liked it, but by the end, there was a point halfway where he looked at me and went, "Maverick's much better than this one, but it's not bad so far." And I was like,
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like actively bad. It's just pretty boring.
It's just I was watching the movie and at a certain point it's like it just feels like this movie's so like passive.
Yeah,
but then I rewatched Cool Hand Luke. And then the 2 first origin movies of Gundam with Philip.
Oh, you haven't watched the third one yet?
No, I just got...
Third one's so fucking sick.
I know. I mentioned I'm like 3 is where it starts to pick up, and then like
I like 1, and I think 2's weird, but I every time I watch 2, I like it a little more.
2. I gave him a heads up when we started 2. I'm like 2 has the most. I've started calling them jam points. I don't know if there's an official term, like those plot points that's like it's kind of a shitty plot point. It'll make most people roll their eyes, but it's kind of the only thing we can really make to make this otherwise phenomenal story work. It's like Sabo in One Piece and his
his cool hat.
Yeah, it's just like that's a terrible explanation for that, but okay, I'll let it slide, I guess. But yeah, it's so stuff like that. But yeah, he's not over the moon for it yet, obviously. But I think
just wait until 3.
Yeah, I think 3 will pick up, and hopefully by time we're on the original series, he'll have acquired a taste for it. Otherwise, it might be a little rough for him for a while, because as charming and as much as I love Gundam, it's definitely an acquired taste if you're not watching.
Which everyone should acquire.
I agree. You need to give Gundam a chance. But I want to watch. I didn't realize they did like a movie version of that episode that's like scrapped.
Yeah, it came out like a year and a half ago.
The last thing I remembered about Gundam was they released the Bright, his son.
Hathaway.
Yeah, the Hathaway movie.
Yeah, still waiting on that second one.
Is it supposed to come out this year?
I don't know. They finally said they were like working on it.
I see.
So this year or next, probably.
Yeah. I might check it out. I might wait till the third one's out. That way I don't have to wait.
Oh, must be nice. No.
I still have to wait. It's just...
Oh, must be nice.
I gotta get...
Man, you're back on the movie train. Watch so much.
A little bit.
Thomas is back to loving movies.
The Princess Bride, honestly, kind of sparked... Because I've been trying to get more into, like, fantasy stuff, just because I like it. That's why I was kind of getting to Disney. Cause I'm like, check out some of this, like, old school fairy tale kind of shit through the Disney lens.
Yeah, fairy tale shit. Yeah, that's what I'm digging.
And Princess Bride was like, oh, fuck, that was a good movie. I want to watch some more good movies. But yeah. That's pretty much it. That and the Planet of the Apes movies. I rewatched Kingdom, which I liked much more on the second go around than I did the first. I think I understood, knowing what I know, it worked a little bit better. I still think there's a couple tweaks I would have made, but yeah.
It's fair. I like that movie, but I think it's pretty rough around its edges, and I think it's mostly just like, look how pretty it is.
It does look insane. Like that movie.
All right, we're going to talk about Planet of the Apes, but first, let's take a break and double check that everything's working. Sometimes you just gotta go on a spaceship and smoke a big old cigarette, big old cigar.
It's like, yeah. I mean, if you're going down cryo sleep, might as well have a good last smoke. I would.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not a cigar, but whatever you smoke, whatever you drink.
Anyway, welcome back. We're talking about Planet of the Apes from 1968.
Yes.
Based on a novel of the same name from 63.
Yeah.
You ever read the book?
No.
Okay. I almost picked it up.
From what I understand, it's... I don't think any of the movies have really gotten to what the book is in terms of like what the actual Planet of the Apes is, but that's fine. I think it's supposed to be like more high tech, but I've never read it.
Is there just one?
Yeah, I think it's just one novel that expanded. Maybe they did stuff retroactively after the movie blew up. I don't know, but yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, starring Charlton Heston, Roddy McDowell, my boy Peter Vincent.
Hey, it's me, Peter Vincent.
The host of Fright Night. Let's see. Who plays Zero? I do not know.
That's Kim Hunter.
Kim Hunter.
Who does Peter Vincent play?
What do you mean, who does Peter Vincent? He plays Cornelius, and then he plays Caesar.
It's Roddy McDowall.
Yeah, it's Roddy McDowall. Roddy McDowall plays Peter Vincent.
Oh, I don't know why when you said Peter Vincent, I was like, Vincent Price.
Oh, yeah. I mean, fair. I mean, it's Peter Cushing and Vincent Price's name smashed together.
I wish he had the monkey makeup on for Fright Night.
It might have, at least for a scene. Like, he's like, remember that movie where I was a monkey vampire hunter?
Yeah, he's looking directly at the camera. Remember the movie where I was the...
And it cuts to Charlie. He's like, no, I've never seen that one. He's like, they never released it. Shame. Got the mask, though.
True.
Pulls out the mask and does a funny little dance and scares Jerry Dandridge out the window later with it. But, yeah, Planet of the Apes. This was your first time seeing this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, I knew the twist, and it's kind of...
Of course.
It's
of
hard
course.
to go into this movie not knowing everything that's happened, because this movie was so, like, influential and had so many, like...
Yeah. Low key, I mean, I guess Psycho would have been, like, before, but, like, in terms of, like, the big, like, tier spoilers, like, the Luke, I am your father tier.
Yeah.
I think this might have been, like, the one that held the title, probably.
It is pretty insane. Like, obviously, like, watching it after all this sci-fi is like, yeah, they're humans and there's eight. Of course, it's, like, the same place.
Yeah,
But, like...
There's almost, like, an unreliable narrator aspect to that thread, though, because, like, multiple times you got different characters have, like, posing their hypothesis on it throughout the movie, and it doesn't really pick one until you get to that moment. But, yeah.
And I do think, like, the ending is extremely effective. I do think Charlton Heston, right? Charles Heston?
I'm pretty sure it's Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston?
Now you got me doubting it. Mr. NRA.
Charlton Heston, yeah.
Yeah.
Every time he does, like when he does fall to his knees and just like, you did this! You made it! I'm like, fuck yes! You're right!
Yeah.
Like, it does feel powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially given the fact they were, like, hot in the Cold War at that point. So, if only, good thing that's over. But, yeah.
But in general, like, not a ton, like, happens in the movie. Like, you can explain it away as...
Yeah, it's very just, like, through the experience that you're thrown into.
Yeah.
With little nuggets of mystery, like Dr. Zaius, like, trying to cover up the fact that Taylor can talk.
Yeah.
And shit like that. Which, if I had one complaint about this movie, I guess everyone knows the plot, right? Like, astronauts fall
that's
from
what
space.
Astronauts fall from space. It's the year 4000. They were going to a planet far, far off from Earth.
Mm-hmm.
They crash land.
Yeah.
One of them is immediately dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then they encounter a hyper-intelligent tribe of apes that are keeping humans who cannot talk on this planet as, like, pets and slaves.
Yeah.
And then everyone dies or is experimented on except for the main character, Taylor, who befriends two of the apes.
Yeah.
Cornelius and Dr. Zira.
Yeah. And, yeah, Dr. Zaius is the medical chief or whatever. And, yeah, he's no good.
He's no good.
He's no good. But he certainly is an interesting character.
Yeah,
though,
he's like trying to keep the link between, like, science and religion intact, and their religion kind of falls apart if certain things in history and science are revealed. Like how apes were stupid and humans were smart.
Yeah. No, he definitely wants to keep that under wraps so much. Like, yeah, they, like, lobotomize one of the other survivors. And it's like, oh, jeez. But, yeah, if I have one complaint about this movie, it's when Taylor gets caught. They shoot him in the fucking throat. And it's like, it's so unbelievable. I don't like it. They should have, like, had him, like...
Apes! Talking? Fine.
It makes sense within the, like, context of the story they're telling. It's just like, I know humans can't get shot in the fucking Adam's apple and be like, oh, I can still talk, like, a week later, though.
Maybe
we're just underestimating how good their vet services
He
are.
trained it up with all those cigars he was smoking.
Yeah. Maybe the bullet just got lodged in his smoke.
I think if I was in charge, I would have made it so that he was climbing up that... Shit. Well.
This fell on Thomas.
Yes. Climbing up that...
Sorry?
You're all good. Climbing up that ledge, and then, like, instead of getting shot, I would have just had him, like, get, like, throat shot with the butt of the gun or something. Would have, like, effectively got what they needed, but without, like, so let's just point blank shoot this guy in the throat and expect him to live.
He was fine.
Well, yeah.
He's strong.
This is a 60s movie. They, like, just threw some red stuff on his neck, and that was it. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's my one big complaint. But yeah, this is a classic. I put it on like a year ago when the new one was coming out. And my roommate walked in like when I was like 15 minutes into the movie, and he was like kind of standing up at the kitchen counter for a while, and eventually he's like, all right. And he just sat down. Had to finish it. Caught his attention.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, even if, like, there's not, like, a ton of action in the movie, but, like, there's some really interesting characters in the movie. Like, I do think Zira and Cornelius are really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Taylor is maybe the least interesting character in the movie, but, like,
yeah,
he serves the plot well. And Hinata and, like, Pierre and Joe weren't familiar with Charlton Heston, so they're just like, he's doing the Zap Brannigan voice from Futurama. And I'm like, yeah, Zap Brannigan's voice is based on Charlton Heston.
Yeah. What?
Which it's like, watching it now is very funny. Because he also even just kind of acts like Zap Brannigan in this. Like, he is very stupid in this in a lot of ways.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But it's like endearing. It's fun. Like, yep, anyone could be an astronaut.
Well, that certainly gets proved with Tim Burton's. But we'll get to that. Marky Mark. And there's the little chimp friend, too.
Yeah, that chimp's name? Funky Bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This is classic. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. Great makeup effects.
Yeah, I think they're really solid in this. I don't think it really gets better than this in terms of, like, visual effects. I think it's kind of diminishing returns. Well, no, I think it kind of goes in waves. I think 2 looks mostly bad, but, like, visual effects wise. I think 3 looks fine, but that's because they only have to do it on 2.
Yeah.
I think 4, Caesar looks good. Everyone else kind of looks a little rough. Besides, Lisa looks good.
She has her rough moments.
5, everything kind of just looks bad. But most of it looks serviceable, at least.
Yeah.
It's not as, like, blatant the differences. But
you should see the TV show.
Now I'm going to. But this first movie, I think it does look really solid. And I think there's a lot of really interesting frames in the movie. Like, I think there's really solid, like, camera work. And they are able to, because they just filmed in a random fucking desert, like, it looks alien enough that I think that believability that this is an alien world could be real.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because, like, it's the 60s. People aren't traveling around all the time. Like,
yeah. I also thought it was kind of interesting I guess it was probably becoming more common during this era of film, but, like, Charlton Heston's character was, like, how cynical he was about, like, the whole, like, fate of humanity, and it was just, like, almost, like, not atheistic, but just kind of, like, no, like, how cold he was towards the death of the one astronaut, like, in the beginning, where it's like, you don't feel anything? Like, oh, she died like a year ago. Why would I mourn her? It's like, because you found out like 12 seconds ago?
Because one of the astronauts dies in the crash.
Yeah.
And there's a sense of, like, finality to the movie. Because, like, this is weird. And I think this is a strange thing to do. But, like, we're supposed to, like, populate this planet?
Yeah.
And it's like, you have one woman?
Yeah. Well,
doesn't seem right.
3 guys, 1 woman? Seems like Pierre was like, shouldn't it be the reverse?
I was gonna say,
it's like, yeah. Unless they're just assuming that it would just be 1 man and 1 woman and the other 2 are just working. But I'm just like, also seems weird that you don't have 2 pairs. Like, shouldn't you have multiple?
There's 1 guy who jerks off the other guy, and then there's a cup guy, and then they inseminate.
Yeah. It's a more natural.
Yeah.
Especially for the 60s. So there's some really weird, like, ideas in it. But I do think that, in general, the world they build is pretty, like, solid. Like, everything kind of makes sense. I really like, it's one of my favorite, like, bits of dialogue in the movie. But he talks about how he was, like, a pilot. And they do it again in Tim Burton's one. And it completely ruins the world. And I'll talk about that when we talk about that.
Yeah.
But, this movie, they're just like, people cannot just fly. That doesn't make any sense. And then I think Cornelius is like, and why would you want to? Like,
yeah.
I like this idea that they have evolved to a certain point, but there's certain things like in their core is like beings that it's just like, why would we want to do that? Like, why would anyone even try to do that? Yeah. So there's some really interesting bits of world building, that I think make sense and make the world feel more grand, even when it's just like, look, we're just in a little town.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like, the medical science is all pretty, like, I guess they do comment that it's, like, kind of gross and dingy because it's for humans, but, like...
Yeah, it's like, well, these are vets, so...
Yeah. But it's like, oh. And, like, yeah. I don't know. Stuff like that was just like, yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah. But in general, I do think this movie's really solid. I think that, like, there are characters that kind of just feel like they're there because it's an attractive woman, like Nova. But
oh, yeah.
But I actually think Nova's inclusion in this makes for one of the better parts of the second movie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I agree.
I think that she's kind of nothing here. She is very attractive.
Yeah.
That lady is brilliant.
Yeah. I almost wish they took that plot line or that plot point from the second one and found a way to insert it into the first one.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Because they do it in 4 fine. Like,
yeah. Well, we'll talk
about in one of the versions of 4.
Yes.
Forgot about that.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, I think this movie's great. I understand why it's a classic. It might not be my favorite of the franchise, and I don't think it's even my favorite of these originals. But I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a blast. I think that there's a real interesting finality to everything, and it's really pessimistic, but, like, somehow manages to still be fun as well.
Yeah. No, I feel it. Yeah, it's probably...
And the twist is solid. And if I saw this in theaters in the 60s, it would have fucking changed my life. I would have been like, holy fuck! Oh my fucking god!
Scanners moment. In the
Somebody call the president!
Yeah. He needs to stop! We need to gather all the apes and stop.
Kill them all!
But, can you imagine if this movie sparked that sort of paranoia? That would be awesome. It wouldn't be awesome. It would be kind of...
We'd be talking about this and be like, isn't it weird that, like, apes don't exist anymore?
Yeah. It's, like, weird. Yeah. What could have been? But, yeah, it's probably, like... It might be my second favorite of the franchise. I feel like it's, like, neck and neck with another one. But I think my favorite is probably, Dawn.
Yeah.
The second.
That movie is incredible.
Yeah. That
Not just as like a Planet of the Apes thing, but just as like an action film. The action in that movie is insane.
Yeah, it's just really snappy, well-paced. The characterization's great. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. But it's what Battle really wanted to be, but was not. But we'll get to Battle.
What'd you give this one?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's right. Ratings. An 8 out of 10.
Me too!
Wow.
Let's talk about Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Wow. I fucking hate this movie.
Okay.
I don't like this one.
I think it's okay.
Also, what is with this goddamn franchise's reluctance just to fucking recast an actor? Why is it always they have to like find some fucking avatar to be like, we really like this character from the last one, but we couldn't get that actor. So instead of just recasting them, why don't we like... Because clearly they wanted fucking Charlton Heston back for the bulk of this movie, but he's like, I'll only be in it at the very end.
The very beginning. Why does he look like that in this movie, too? He looks really fucked up.
He was probably doing a different movie.
He was probably doing a lot of drugs.
Yeah, that too.
He looks really unhealthy in this.
He was probably just like, I'll come back. It was probably like a Henry Cavill mustache situation. It was like, I'll come back, but it's going to be on my terms, and you're going to have to fucking deal with it. Yeah. I think they're like, let's create a different Taylor. A guy...
Yeah, what's his name?
I don't fucking remember. It's not even worth remembering.
I think the problem is, like, this second movie, an hour of it is just the first movie again.
Yeah. Except,
Brent.
I do like that this movie I do like ideas that this movie introduces.
Yeah.
Like I like and there are certainly like moments from it that I do enjoy. Like I like the idea that like gorillas are like the kind of like the race of apes that are like holding them all back and seemingly always going to lead to their destruction. I guess that starts in this, and it just becomes like a common trend throughout, even into the new ones when you get like Donkey and like War. Yeah. Even though I feel like that was less targeted towards gorillas, but it just so happened to be a gorilla in that one. But what's it called? I like the concept of the bomb worshipping mutants. I think the execution is bad, but I think that's what the new ones are probably going for.
Yeah,
it seems
because that's what was in Battle, but then there's this new one. Like, yeah,
But yeah. Let's see. I like this scene with the statue of the lawgiver. Is it
the lawgiver?
Yeah, and it's like bleeding down the eyes. And it's like, yeah. So that's probably all I like about the movie. Oh, and the Nova scene.
I think the Nova scene's good. I love the ending. I think the ending's insane.
I do kind of respect how audacious the ending is. It's very Spider-Man Unlimited. Yeah. But it's just like, wow, what a ballsy move. I wonder if that was part of Charlton Heston's demand. He's like, I'll come back, but I'm killing
everything.
Not only will I not be in another one, there won't be another one. They're like, you think?
We're going to make a lot more.
I think they really tried to.
There's a sneeze stuck in me.
Huh? Oh, gosh. You'll look up at the light? Is that what?
Yeah. Thanks, God. Oh!
Bless you.
Oh! Sorry, beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Oh my, again. Oh, with the blow afterwards.
I think I'm dying.
Oh, jeez.
I'm thinking about Charlton Heston's weird fucking face in this.
Making you sneeze.
Oh my God!
Holy shit. But, yeah, what the fuck else happens in this movie? So
first hour is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, Charlton Heston
is missing.
Yeah, he falls into nothing.
Yep, as we all do.
Yeah, like literally. He gets off, he's like, traveling around with Nova, gets off his horse, and is like...
He's like, Nova, go find Zira if I go missing. And then he walks 1 foot and then falls into the wall.
Yeah, he just disappears into nothing, and it's just like, wow. Huh, okay. Good timing. You look miserable.
I look like I'm about to sneeze again. I don't know why I just started having a sneezing fit. Ugh.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just can't stop sneezing.
Oh, it'll be great audio content.
Yeah. Don't worry.
What's it called?
Oh! We good.
Okay. Fuck, what the fuck?
Zira.
I was talking about Zira?
Well, we said that Nova has to go find Zira.
Oh yeah, Nova has to go find Zero. Charlton Heston disappears into a fucking nothing.
And then Brent shows up.
And then, yeah, Brent, the guy who's just Taylor, but not Taylor, shows up, and then he...
Oh, I remembered another scene I like! I actually like the scene with Brent and his co-pilot or whatever, and as the co-pilot's dying, he's just like, everyone I've ever known is dead, and has been dead for a very long time.
I mean, yeah.
And then he dies. I thought it was, like, pretty solid. I thought it was maybe the best bit of acting in the movie, because this one does not have very many good performances.
That's probably true. I thought they'd start off the movie on a high note.
I was, like, kind of like, maybe people are wrong about this movie. And then the next 45 minutes happen. I'm like, never mind.
Yeah. What's it called?
Are you okay?
No, I'm having a burp fit. Oh my god.
What the fuck? Were we haunted by Beneath the Planet of the Apes or something?
I guess so.
We start talking about the second movie and we're both suddenly dying.
This movie brings out the worst in us. For you, it's sneezes. For me, it's burps, apparently. But
Hey, that's fetish content.
yeah.
Both those things.
I'm sure. It wouldn't surprise me. But
Specifically while we're talking about Planet of the Apes.
it's a third kink. The
Apes.
furries.
Do you think there were a lot of people that were attracted to Cornelius and they didn't understand why?
I think that was probably more likely to happen with Zero than Cornelius, but perhaps.
But Cornelius has the suit on in the next movie.
That is true. That is true. But a lot of people get Zero drunk in the next movie as well. So,
While she's pregnant.
yes. Yes. Well, a glass might not hurt her, according to the guy in the movie.
According to the evil man.
What do you mean? He was totally within his right. No.
Anyway, Beneath, nothing happens for the first hour.
Nothing happens the whole fucking movie. He goes to...
Ape City.
Yeah, they go to Ape City and he stumbles across a meeting between the council, which is comprised of, like, the chimps, the orangutans, and the gorillas. The gorillas are like... I guess since Taylor showed up, they've been exploring out into the Forbidden Zone more and more and coming across psychic attacks from the...
When people are missing, like there's like
Yeah.
12 gorillas missing or something.
Yeah, so they're like, we're gonna go to war with whoever's doing this out there, and we're gonna go out there and find out what's what.
And the chimps are like, don't fucking do that. The chimps are having like a peaceful protest.
So they lock up the chimps.
Yeah, there's a lot of really on the nose things in this movie.
There's a lot of really on the nose things in this classic franchise. Yeah,
Yeah. But in this, it just feels worse because the surrounding movie's just a lot worse, I think.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, and then they go and they break through the psychic visions, and they're like, oh, that's not real. Okay. They figure it out. The faith of the lawgiver sends Dr. Zaius through because he refuses to believe the context that they're this weird psychic image of the lawgiver bleeding out of its eyes and
Like,
flames.
that can't be happening.
That goes against our religion. That's not true. But yeah, so then they go through, and then the bomb worshipping cult attacks Brent and throws him into a cell with Taylor, who's still alive, but not for long because these psychic people really like to make
Yeah, they're
people...
like, guys, we're peace loving, so we simply make other people kill each other. Yeah, that's how that works.
Mm-hmm. So then they psychically make the two of them attack each other, but then they end up using that to break out of their cell, but then
Because Nova says, Taylor!
yeah, that's what happens. Yeah,
And that distracts the psychic man long enough for them to hit him with a drumstick.
Yeah, so
And then he gets impaled by the very sharp door into the very sharp wall. Like, guys, why'd you make your doors so sharp?
so people can accidentally kill themselves on them, I guess.
True,
But they're
true.
very peaceful. But yeah, so then they get locked in the cell again, though.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't remember how they got
They
out.
just break out. They just use the club to break out.
Oh.
Like, they just pull it open. Like, why? Why?
Then, yeah, why shut the door again? Yeah, this movie's fucking pointless, just like that. But, yeah, so... Yep. Then Charlton Heston, like, and Brent try to stop the bomb. And there's chaos going on. The guerrillas have shown up and waged war on the mutants, and everyone's distracted. And then Charlton Heston is dying because he gets shot, and then Dr. Zaius is there. And he kind of presses the bomb, seemingly to spite Dr. Zaius. Yeah. He's like, fuck you! And
he's like, well, I was going to stop you, but now you've killed me, so fuck you.
Yeah, so he presses the button, and...
There's a...
The world ends.
Voiceover with somebody being like, yep, the Earth was once here, not here anymore.
Yeah, it's just like, what?
And then it fades out and the movie ends.
It's like, what the fuck was that?
I was literally just like, huh? What?
Yeah.
I had heard that the ending of this movie was insane. And I was like, I don't even think I was prepared.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? It feels like they ran out of money and they were just like, we have to do something.
Blow it up.
No, like, they were just like, voiceover. I don't know. It just feels so rushed. And like, the movie came out a couple years later. I don't know. I would have just maybe... I'm glad because I like some of the later sequels, but I probably would have just not made a sequel to Planet of the Apes.
It's just weird because they make the 5 movies within like 5 years. They all come out by 73. I'm like,
yeah.
Maybe, guys, just give it a little more time in the cooker.
The new ones seem to have a pretty good model for that.
Yeah, it was every 3 years.
Yeah.
And then every 7. Or whatever.
Well, they took a break between trilogies or whatever.
But
I think the next one is on track to hopefully come out 27, I think. So it's like, what, 4 years maybe? I don't know.
That's a solid amount.
Yeah. Or no, that'd be 3 years. Yeah, I forgot last year was 24, not 23.
Time flies.
It really does.
We're
scary.
old.
Yeah, we're getting there.
When we started the podcast, we were 7.
Don't remind me. I don't like to think about the hard 8s, you know?
The hard 8s.
Yeah. But yeah,
You despise this one.
I don't like this one.
I liked it more than I thought I was going to. I like the ending quite a bit. There are enough. I like the scene with Brent and his co-pilot. I actually like the kind of scuffle that Brent and Taylor get into the Nova scene. I think the interaction between Brent and the psychics is pretty good. Like, I actually like the last, like, half hour a decent amount.
I don't know. It felt like they were just like, we need to do something to expand this forbidden zone. That's where the story's going next. And it felt like they just took the most, like, stock fucking late 60s sci-fi like, I don't know. It's very similar. Like, The Cage has a similar kind of thing. That's the pilot to Star Trek. Like, I'm sure it's a dime a dozen plot line. I'm just like, all right,
For me, I didn't mind it. And I actually think that most of the, like, things in the underground tunnel look pretty cool. Like, the sets are pretty good.
Yeah.
Even if, like...
And I like the makeup and stuff. I like the way they look.
Yeah. So I think there's enough in this movie that I thought it was fine, actually. Like, the first good chunk of it is just nothing. It's just a nothing movie. But I like the last act enough to not dislike the movie as a whole, I guess.
I see. Yeah. This is easily my least favorite of the franchise.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Including Marky Mark?
We'll talk about it.
You're going to be like, I love this movie. I'd give this one a 5.
I would probably give it like a 3.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Escape from Planet of the Apes.
I think this movie's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. I'm kind of middle of the road. I don't really like strongly love this one or hate it. I think it's pretty good.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
So in this one, Dr. Zira, Cornelius, and of course Dr. Milo, who we all know and love.
Oh, yes.
They show up on Earth in modern day
Mm-hmm.
because they were gonna try to escape the planet of the apes.
I guess.
And when the nuke went off and exploded the Earth, it sent them through a time vortex.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're on present day.
Yeah.
And a lot of this movie, for the first chunk of it, it's like, oh, they're having fun. Everybody loves them.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. wants peace. Everybody's happy. And they're like going on talk shows and they get like, oh, we're going to buy you a suit and stuff. But one of the guys, he fucking hates monkeys.
Yeah. Yeah, they do this big trial when they first show up, and there's a couple flubs they have where they reveal a little too much. Like, there's a point where Zira almost admits to, like, dissecting humans.
Yeah, she's like, I've examined hundreds of you.
Yes, and they, like, refute knowing Taylor and stuff, and all of this eventually comes back as, like, see, we have reason not to trust them, so, yeah, once they're, turns out, oh no, Dr. Zira gets pregnant. So, then they're like, alright, we can't allow them.
Oh, and Milo dies.
Oh,
the
yeah.
doctor dies
Milo
because a regular gorilla kills him.
Yeah, they were just like, here, we'll put you next to your friend, and they put, like, back-to-back cages with the gorilla. And I guess he just leaned back.
And then the gorilla just, like, snaps his neck.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't wait to meet this cool new character.
Nope.
Kill them all.
It's like they wanted a positive Dr. Zaius, and they were like, never mind.
And they were just like, Milo was the best of us. I'm like, was he? I didn't even know him. Where was he in the first?
I'll take your word for it. But, yeah. It's like, okay. So, yeah, they get Dr. Zira drunk and get her to admit to a little more, and then they give her a truth serum and really get her to admit a lot more. Like, she gets hyper specific with the dissection stuff.
Yeah.
But
they're like, what parts of the humans were you looking at? She's like, oh, the spleen, the organs,
the tongues, the eyes,
yeah,
the nostrils, whatever we can get our hands on, really. But yeah, and then they end up. So there's like the guy who takes them in originally tries to help them escape and save their kid, so he takes them to a circus or a carnival
with the grandpa from Spy Kids.
Yeah, and
he's also in The Naked Gun.
Yes. Do you know what else he's in?
He's also Khan.
I was gonna say, yeah, the big one,
which I haven't seen, but
What?
I've seen the episode. I haven't seen the movie.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I haven't seen any of the original Star Trek movies. I've seen Nemesis with Tom Hardy.
I haven't seen that one.
I've seen the one with Picard and Shatner.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Generation?
Yeah, I think that one's Generations. I've seen all the TOS movies, though.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them.
You should watch through them at some point. They're kind of standalone. You don't need to watch all.
Yeah, I've heard there's like 4 good ones.
I think that they are all interesting and worth watching, but
Wow.
I'm also a hardcore Star Trek fan. I guess not super hardcore. I've not watched all of it, but
Have you watched Picard?
no, I'm not there yet in the chronology.
Have you watched
No, I haven't watched Deep Space Nine or Voyager yet. I've seen
Lower Decks?
No, but I watched the Lower Decks crossover with Strange New Worlds because there was an episode.
Are they like animated still? Like walking around animated?
No, they like go through a portal that brings them into live action. They have their live action actors play them. So like Jack Quaid's like running around with purple hair and
It's Jack Quaid.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw his new movie.
Oh, the Novocaine?
Yeah. Much better than I expected. Because I thought the trailer looked pretty bad.
It didn't really. It seemed like it was just trying to sell the concept, but yeah. Yeah, it looks like it could be a fun movie. A good popcorn watch. But, I don't know, maybe it's deep. maybe it says something good. Like, no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, people don't like the prospect of them having the kid, so they're like, all right, we'll allow them to live, but we'll take their kid, kill it, and we'll spay and neuter them. And it's like,
Don't
no,
do that.
yeah, they're not going to do that. So they go to the circus run by, I think, Armando. Yeah. Who coincidentally has a gorilla, or not a gorilla, an ape, a chimp, who gave birth to a different chimp that, like, a month ago that they have a birth record for. But that plot point's not relevant yet. It's just there. But, so yeah, they then have to continue their run from the circus, because
the guy's like, oh, we should check all the circuses.
Well, to be fair, the guy who's helping them is like, he asks him, he's like, where would you look for them? He's like, anywhere where there are monkeys. And he's like, all right, check all the zoos and circuses. And he's like, oh. It's like, well, why did you say that?
I would check your
you
house.
should check the sewers. I hear it's a good underground place to
monkey
hide.
sewers. I'm always hearing monkeying around down there.
You ever gonna look down there otherwise?
Nope. I would check the basement.
Check your grandma's house.
I would check the local park. They love trees, those monkeys.
Have you
Those
thought
fucking
about-
monkey bastards.
Have you thought about putting up some flyers?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. But yeah, so they go hide out on a boat, and then they get found, and then they die. They get murdered.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
It's really sad.
It's a
but
very
then it's
dark
like,
ending.
oh, but secretly they switched the babies.
Yeah.
Which is also sad because then that random mother just lost her kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. But yeah, they just get murdered.
She's a primitive ape. It doesn't matter. I know.
And then Cornelius like shoots the guy.
Yeah.
The evil man.
Yeah, the stupid fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, they die in each other's arms. It's really sad. I'm just like, what the fuck? Because this movie's happy. Finally, a happy Planet of the Apes movie. And I'm like, no, it's not happy. Not happy.
Nope. Not here.
But the baby is still alive.
Mm-hmm. And that baby would go on to be Caesar. What? Yeah, the OG Caesar. This, I guess, kicks off this Caesar trilogy.
Yeah.
The classic movies, kind of. Even though I'd argue it's the next one, and then that's just a standalone.
Yeah.
No, I surprisingly, we'll get more into it, but I don't hate 5. But I don't like love it either. It's kind of just there. But yeah. Anything else you wanted to add to this
I
one?
think that the continued like character development of Zira and Cornelius in this is like fascinating.
Yeah.
I really like their interactions with regular people and their interactions with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I like Armando a lot. I like the main doctor that helps them. I do like the villain in this movie.
Yeah.
And I really like the president in this movie because he's just like a really chill, level-headed guy. I was like, what if we had a chill, level-headed guy who's like reasonable?
As long as he's reasonable, populist, and has some ethics, yeah, sure.
But this guy's just, he's like, seems like he wants to, he's like, well, we can't jump to conclusions here. I'm like, that's crazy.
I feel like we do maybe get presidents like that, perhaps. Not currently, but maybe at points, but then, like, the people paying them are like, you shut up, whore! And then it's like, alright, yes, indeed, I will shut up now. It's just like, okay. Obviously, it's more complicated than that, but yeah, we don't need to get into world politics. We're talking Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, which that's not political at all. Finally, non-woke bullshit.
Yeah. But
yeah, I really like this movie. I thought it was solid. I think the ending's tragic.
Yeah, it's definitely a bummer of an ending. Especially for how lighthearted it is. Early on, it's like, oh.
I don't think it's like a huge step up from like in quality or as much as I enjoy the first one, but I do think it's my favorite.
I see.
Maybe it's because he wears a suit.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Good monkey. A monkey suit. But, yeah. What would you give this one?
Probably also an 8.
I'd probably give this one like a 7.
I just love monkeying around. Don't say that about him, or Cornelius will kill you if you call his wife a monkey.
Yeah, he's not a fan of that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, he kills someone. By accident, but... Because they don't like being called monkeys.
It's racist. Yeah. But, yeah.
Conquest for the planet of the apes. Messy.
It is messy.
But I like this one a lot, too.
This is probably my second favorite of the classic era. The mature cut, which I had seen for the first time.
Which ends with death?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the one where he's like, and we shall create the planet of the apes. And then the theatrical cut, they re-edit to have Lisa go, no. And then suddenly he's like, all right, and now
yeah, it's just
we
like,
put away our weapons.
He's like, but today is not that day, and we'll be nice. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay, but yeah, this one, yeah, it's just I really like Caesar as a character. Then it's very interesting because this is like the Caesar that they clearly based New Caesar off of.
Yeah. Which Roddy McDowall plays Caesar again. There's a 20-year time skip.
Yep.
Armando looks great for his age.
I know.
Looks the exact same.
Right.
How much time has passed between 4 and 5 is what I'm also thinking. Because I'm just like, surely a good chunk of time.
I mean, it would have to be.
But at the same time, like, there's a character from 4. And it's like, how old is the main human in 5? Because he's the brother of the black guy in this movie.
Yes. Another...
What are they doing?
Yeah, another one of that where it's like, we're scared to recast this character. Let's create a new one.
But it's the brother.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
What?
But they call him the same thing.
I know. It's just
and I'm like, okay, they just recast him. Like, your brother. I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah. It's like, why? Why do you do this? It's so strange, but...
Yeah, I think Roddy McDowall's excellent in this. I think this movie is really messy. I think things start to fall apart in its world building in this one.
Yeah.
I do think it's
sure.
Because it's like, 20 years. And now apes, they talk about a plague that wiped out all the cats and dogs.
Yeah, they talk about
and they're
that
really
in the
trying to
third.
link up stuff in this one.
They talk about that in the third
Yeah.
one. And then they talk about Aldo, the ape that said no, which is funny because that gets reworked into like the new Caesar trilogy. But then they have Aldo in 5.
Yeah. Which I thought 5 was going to end a lot differently because of that.
Yeah.
Which I think...
Missed opportunity.
I think they could have done so.
Because it almost makes you think is Caesar going to be like overtaken and they're just going to rewrite history to be in favor of Aldo?
Which I think might have been the original idea.
Probably.
Maybe. Because this one... 5 ends a lot more like hopeful than I think it should have.
But then they realized that they couldn't have Roddy McDowall in the movies anymore, and I don't think they were ready for that.
But then they didn't make any more movies.
Yeah, but he came back for the TV show.
Yeah, which was a great success.
Well, one season, and then he didn't come
I
back.
need to watch this.
Yeah. I need to sit down and watch through all of it. Like I said, only watched the first few
that
minutes.
looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's truly groundbreaking. I mean, yeah, I guess for TV in the 70s, it probably does look pretty good.
It's...
For what they're trying to accomplish.
Why was it set when it's set in like
1,000 years in the future, but 1,000 years in the past from the original movie. It's set in the year like 3000.
The TV series?
Yeah.
But isn't he playing Caesar in it? Roddy McDowell's in it. I skimmed and I found his character talking to the main characters. He didn't show up in the first few minutes, though. I don't know. Whatever.
What the
Yeah, the continuity of the
Roddy McDowell's
series.
in it as Galen.
As Galen, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
There's another Zaius in it. It's just like...
Yeah, it seemed like the character I saw at the beginning. He didn't get name dropped, but he seemed very... He didn't look like Dr. Zaius, but he had a similar mindset. But, yeah, what's it called? Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. So, it seems to begin with, like, Armando taking Caesar through to, basically, like, his first walk through, like, civilization. He's, like, teaching him how to act and how to keep a low guard and, basically see what's going on with all the apes. Are you looking at, like, TV show?
Yeah, I can't stop.
Well, there's a whole, like, 8 episodes of it or whatever? 13? Something like that. But yeah, basically they come across some ape brutality, and then Caesar kind of just, like, instinctually lets out, like, you damn
dirty human.
I don't think he says that, but he says something like that. He should have said that. It would have been on brand, but it's like, you despicable humans or something like that. And it's just like, they're like,
dirty human scum. I think that was it.
Yeah.
Because then Armando's like, no, it's me. And he goes, dirty human scum. And then one of them's like, oh, that could have been it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think so.
And later he said, inhuman. Because he was like he's like, no, I said it was inhuman. You just misheard me. And they're like, yeah. But, yeah, it was like, yeah. But, yeah, so Armando, like, and him, Caesar runs away because they're too busy getting the other ape. But they're like, we're going to get back to you. So Caesar runs away, and then Armando, or he's not Caesar at this point. What's his name?
He's Caesar.
No, he's got a different name when he's with Armando because he picks his name in the dictionary.
No, he's still Caesar. He just picks it again.
Oh, he does?
Yeah,
I thought
because they don't know his name's Caesar, but he calls him Caesar at the very beginning. At the very end of 3, his name's Milo. He's named after the doctor that died. But in this, when he first appears, he's named Caesar.
Okay, I thought they were calling him Milo through the first leg of this movie.
No, I think they're still calling him Caesar.
Okay, I thought he picked it there.
I think he's just being a dick. He's just being a little scamp.
Well,
he's like, oh, my name.
Wouldn't that give it away?
Well, they don't know his name.
I know, but it's like, oh, they don't know. Well, yeah, because they've been interrogating him and checking out his circus and stuff. At that point, when they get him.
Yeah, but I don't think they name him that. Like, they just know he's a monkey. Like, I don't think...
I know, but if they know that they're looking for a monkey named Caesar.
Well, I don't...
Because he's plastered all over, like, the...
Yeah, but I don't think he has a name in the circus. I think he's just like, the extraordinary monkey.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think they might call him Milo, and I think he picks the name Caesar. But I might be wrong as well. I don't know.
Play the clip! No, I'm not playing the clip.
But, yeah. So... yeah, Caesar is like, basically like, they go to some stairwell and Armando's like, I think the best course of action is for me to just turn myself in and tell him I lost you, and then I'll come back and I'll get you later, and hopefully I'll blow over. But if that doesn't work, maybe you should take off your clothes and then go down to the harbor where you can sneak into a shipment of other apes, because the only safe place for you to hide is like amongst your kind right now. But he can't talk, he can't be himself at all, he can't act like himself, he has to pretend to be stupid, dumb, subservient ape.
So he gets sent to ape school.
Yep.
Which is a horrible prison where
Yeah,
they just torture the apes.
It looks a lot like, what's that fucking movie we watched by Stuart Gordon with the prison?
Fortress?
Was it Fortress?
You know, like Future Prison?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Fortress.
It kind of felt like that to me.
Yeah, the like big like
Open
area with like slants. Like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah, it's like a weird style of prison.
Yeah, Fortress.
Yeah. I need to watch the sequel to that at some point.
With Christopher Lambert. Oh yeah, Fortress 2, The Fortressing.
Yeah, although that one's not Stuart Gordon.
No,
so.
It still has Christopher Lambert in it.
It's something, but no Jeffrey Combs though.
No, we still got like
probably 8 Stuart Gordon movies we didn't watch.
If they made these movies like into the 80s, I think
Jeffrey Combs, he looks like a monkey.
Yeah, I think he would have eventually found his way into one of these movies. He does Star Trek and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, he definitely would.
He like just missed the mark too, because I think like I'm surprised he's not in the Burton one. If I'm being honest.
Well, Burton probably just had no idea who he was, or probably was like, I saw Reanimator like once in the 80s and thought it was okay.
Yeah, I could have made it better.
I do like that clip of like Paul Giamatti where he's like, Tim Burton really came up and really wanted me to play this role. You must really think I just looked like a monkey, I guess.
He does.
Yeah, he does.
All the reviews for this on Letterboxd just call him Paul Giamonkey.
He fits the role well. But, yeah. So Caesar goes to prison, and some of where I find this movie is most messy is like, it's hard to tell if it's like a behavioral thing, but like he seems to have like an effect on the other apes.
Yeah, well, yeah, later on he just starts staring at them and they start doing, like, it's almost like he has a psychic link with them.
Yeah, and it's like, you get little bits of it early on, like there's points where he's like walking and like other apes are kind of like stopping and like gawking at him for a bit, and it's like, you know,
they understand he's the king.
Yeah, it's like, okay, maybe it's like just the fact that they pick up on the mannerisms are different.
Yeah.
But then it's like later on, yeah, you have the moments where it's just like he does just like stare at him, and he does seem to like, they do, I guess they're already working off like a certain level of cognitive ability.
Yeah.
They can sweep.
Yeah, because I mean the humans had petted them for so many years before they realized like, hey, we can make these people our servants. But yeah, so yeah, basically he spends a little time, eventually he's like, all right, I'm just gonna kind of play by the rules, be a good monkey or good ape. And then, you know, he ends up going up for auction, and then kind of catches the suspicion of the governor, who is the bad guy in this one.
Breck, I think his name was.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, so he was like, all right, I'll buy that for $1. So he does.
I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah, and what's it called? Basically, he picks his name, Caesar, and then from there is just kind of working the back channels. He's like gathering stuff for a rebellion. Like the apes will be sent out with like little shopping lists, and he'll take it and he'll be like, all right, let's add this.
Let's add nuclear bombs. Not really, but kind of. He's like, I need a gun.
Gallons of kerosene, like stuff like that. It's like,
and people just don't. I do like that part. Like, there's a lot of this movie. I like this movie a lot, even if it is messy. I just think the first chunk is pretty messy. There's a lot of like almost just montages of being like, look, we're bad to the apes. It's like, yeah, we got that. We've had 3 movies of that. We understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, yeah, and basically, yeah, just resentment builds. Armando gets, like, kind of attacked out a window.
Yeah, he gets interrogated, and then he falls out a window.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he really like hits it in the overdrive. He's like, okay, I'm gonna fucking kill these guys.
Yeah, and it's so sad, the scene where he just casually overhears, because he's like just in the office with the governor and shit, and he's like filing paperwork, and he hears it's like, and that circus owner, go and jump out the window, and he's just like, what the fuck is it? And he just has to swallow it and goes outside and can't even like release his grief, because if he's seen, he's caught.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I like that kind of stuff. And yeah, the performance, I think out of all of Roddy McDowall's performances in these movies, they're all like good, but this is the one where he's definitely feels like he's like going the distance for it.
Because there's a real sense of like urgency to his performance, and there's like an aching secrecy to a lot of it, where he's like, he really wants to be himself and he can't.
Yeah, and just like a really like kind of like cutting wisdom to his eyes, like very aggressive, but like smart and dangerous almost.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but yeah. So McDonald,
yeah.
He's like the governor's assistant, and he's like the one that's sympathetic to Caesar. He doesn't know Caesar's Caesar, but he's just sympathetic to apes in general. And then eventually, how do they figure out that Caesar? They like get a big clue, and they're like, "All right, we need you to bring Caesar in."
Because they figure out that the shipment he came in on was only supposed to have like 3 of the orange things, orangutans, because there are no chimps
In the country that came from.
I see. So yeah, they're like, what the fuck? So they're like, bring him in for questioning, and then they hook him up to an electroshock machine.
And McDonald turns it off secretly.
Yeah, after he gets one real zap.
Yeah. But when they say, we're gonna explode him.
Yeah, we'll kill him, he's hooked up. Like, so he goes and turns it off, and Caesar catches on and pretends to die. They're like, alright, yeah.
And then he kills the human and escapes, and then they start a giant riot. The burps are back. Uh-oh. The apes are infected.
This is a good one, though. I mean, it's a little messy, but it's good. But yeah.
And then they go take to the street, and there's like 20 minutes of them just fucking fighting the police.
Yeah.
And then they take over the station where Breck is, and then they fucking kill him. He has a giant monologue where he's like becoming evil. Like there's
pretty much.
It's pretty intense, and he's just like, "We will be the rulers of the world. We will be the planet of the apes."
Yeah.
And then in the original cut, they fucking just
the darker cut is the original cut, but
they fucking just kill Breck.
Yeah, they were like, you can't release this though. So then they when they released theatrically, they had to make all those cuts, but then they released it years later. And yeah, so 4 is the theatrical cut is like, I guess if you go on to watch 5 and the later stuff, the canon cut because of the ending.
Which I think I think if they had moved forward with the original cut, I think 5 still could have worked as a movie. You just have to kind of rewrite how they make him as a character.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be a lot more, like, aggressive in why he doesn't want to fight and why he doesn't... Because he's like, well, the last time he did that, I went fucking nuts. Like,
yeah. Like a arc where he learns to, like, trust humans more so again. Aside, I guess he has that with McDonald to a certain extent, but obviously by the end it's like that kind of sours. Unless you watch the cut where at the end he's just like, and now we stop.
Which, the theatrical cut,
it's so bad. It's so poorly just like, snip.
That was weird.
Yeah, it's like, that feels like that was not the intended, what was supposed to be there, but another like rush job ending kind of. These movies have those.
Yeah.
The same with 5. We'll get into it, but it's like the thing with 5 is like, wow, that's kind of really interesting, but what?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But even as messy as it is, I think 4 is very good.
Yeah, I really like 4. Like I said, it's my second favorite of the classic, and might be my third favorite overall. I'd have to really think. I think I probably would put Rise above it, and probably maybe Kingdom. I don't know. I'd have to sit and rewatch the Caesar trilogy again, but because I didn't rewatch that.
No.
Oh, so sick.
Yeah.
Those movies are so sick.
They're fucking phenomenal. It's like they take out the best parts of these movies and put them into a very cohesive...
Give them a little more time in the oven.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah. And I'm excited for the next one. I'm hoping it picks up the pace. And
I wish Proximus Caesar was in that movie more. He's such a good villain. Like, Kevin Durant's so good as him. And then he's like...
I wish it was like a 4-hour cut where you just gotta sit with more of those characters. Because they all... I really like a lot of them, but I feel like I didn't get enough of a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's like... I don't know. But yeah. What would you give Conquest?
7, probably.
7? Yeah, I'm probably there too. Yeah.
Battle for Planet of the Apes. I watched this in the bathtub. At a bubble bath. I was just like, this is nice and relaxing. And then I was watching the movie and like, this is real Snoozeville though.
I think... You know how sometimes there are 2 movies that come out, and then there's like, and you can read what happened in between these movies in this book.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of feels like one of those books. I don't really think this movie has a lot of substance to it.
No. None.
Which is annoying because I like the idea of it quite a bit. I like the idea that the final battle for Earth is this small scale thing because humans have just destroyed everything. That is like, yep, the battle, it's like in a little field.
Yeah.
But I think they keep trying to make it a little bit bigger and it makes it feel worse. Like instead of just a battle in a field, it's like, but we have a tank. And I'm like, but it doesn't feel that way.
I also... Like, I get trying to go for the cat, but I also wish it would just pick a lane, whether it's wanting to focus more on... Because War does the same thing where it's like, all right, we're going to have the humans and the mutiny aspect happening. Or not. I mean, that does happen in War, I guess, too, but... Dawn. I always want to call it Dawn War. But yeah, I think, like, Dawn is, like I said, the much better version of all the ideas in this movie. Obviously, yeah, there are some things where it's like it wouldn't translate over, but there are things I like about this movie. Number 1, Paul Williams, of course, playing, I don't know the character's name, but the wise ape.
It's Virgil. Just remembered it. Boom.
Yep.
Didn't even have to look at my goddamn phone.
Look at you.
Boom. I'm the name expert.
That's the guy who wrote the Rainbow Connection, amongst other things.
He was a Muppet.
That's true. There's a lot of little Muppets of him, if I recall, but it's been a while since I've watched.
No, I meant in real life, he's a Muppet.
That too.
He kind of looks like this.
Kind of. He's got very Paul Williams energy. I could see him voicing that character.
Do you know this character's name?
I don't even know what that character is from.
This is from Yokai Watch.
Wow.
This is Jibanyan.
None of that.
Do you know what Yokai Watch is?
Nope.
Think of it like Pokemon, but instead of capturing little critters, you're capturing little ghosts.
Wow.
There's a horrible spirit who's like a dog but has a human face. Really scary. Really don't like that guy.
We should do one for the little dancing pig or something.
Oh, the dancing pig. Now that is a film.
They should remake Planet of the Apes, but replace the apes with pigs.
That's a good idea.
It could be a full moon movie. But anyway.
Could be. They already did that. It was Charles Band's Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah.
You love that one.
That movie was a fucking nightmare fuel. But,
it's like, oh no, I have to sit through an hour and a half of another full moon movie. Ah!
Yeah, I don't know. I think this one's at least like, I don't know. I think it's brisk enough. I'm unoffended by it. It's got Paul Williams in it, and I really like the ending bit. I feel like it's probably ripping off another movie because there's a different scene in this movie that I think is like also really good, but I forgot to mention when I was going through what I watched earlier. Sometimes I do a partial Lyndon where I won't watch all of Barry Lyndon, but I'll watch like the first 30 and the last 30.
Why?
I don't know. It's just because I don't have the energy to fully sit down and watch the 3-hour movie, but I've seen it enough.
You just
times.
want to see the beginning and ending?
I usually like watch like about the point where he leaves, after shooting the guy, and then I'm like, I like that part of the movie, and then I like the like Bullington arc of the movie that concludes it. So I usually pick up around the point where he beats the shit out of Bullington, and then to the end. But there, spoiler alerts for Barry Lyndon. If you've never seen it, skip ahead like 2 seconds. The scene where Barry Lyndon's son dies, very, very, very similar to what happens when Caesar's son. To the point where they're like each sitting on the side of. No,
it's the best scene in this movie.
I know, which is why it's like. And Barry Lyndon came out like a couple years before this. It would have been
When did Barry Lyndon come out?
like 73.
73.
Yeah, so it's like
Didn't this also come out 73?
I think this is 75. I might be off on that though. But maybe, I don't know. If I had to guess, I don't think Stanley Kubrick ripped off the Planet of the Apes movie, but you never know.
This came out 2 years before Barry Lyndon.
Really?
Yeah, this came out 73. Lyndon came out 75.
Oh my god. He must have been watching this in the
once
theater.
stole.
And he's like just crying, just like, oh my god, I need to put this in my
You will be as
period
tall
piece."
as a king. I think Roddy McDowall in this is mostly like fine. I think that scene I think that is his best performance in the entire franchise.
Yeah.
It's so powerful, and then the rest of the movie is just nothing.
Well, I maybe would have like spruced up the action part of it, but I love the end part when they realize Aldo killed him and it's revealed to the public, even though it was super fucking obvious the whole time and they should have fucking deduced that.
Like ape killed ape.
You broke our most sacred law. And they're all just like
And McDonald's like, looks like they just joined the human race.
yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
It means that
Looks like they understand what vengeance has.
yeah, it's like you can't hold your fucking ape purity over our heads anymore. You're human now.
And
Human
then, yes,
enough.
the final scene when he's just like running away and then falls is awesome.
Yeah.
I think the scene with his son most of the scenes with his son are really strong.
Mm. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of them, but they seemed like they were building up to something pretty interesting.
I think the mutant stuff is okay in concept.
That's my least favorite part of the movie. But
I like the guy who's like, God, we need to stop. Like, we need to be
the
at
one
peace.
guy who's
and
in,
then
like,
he
one
just
scene.
stops talking.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, they stopped that thread.
Yeah, it would have been nice to maybe have more of that. Maybe we'll get to see that idea fleshed out in some of these new sequels if they do commit to this route. Because it seems like they're setting that up, but it's also at a point where it might not be that as well.
But I just like, when you look at Aldo as a character, he's just kind of nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
he's very
look at him
dead.
in the new ones, like his analog, like Koba. Koba's insane. Koba's such a good villain, and Aldo's
Yes.
just kind of a nothing character.
Absolutely.
The other villain in this is kind of just a nothing character, while like the villains in the new Caesar trilogy are so fucking cool, or like really meaningful characters.
Yeah, well, they had to pump that screenplay out before all the previous movies' masks deteriorated.
Yeah.
So...
But even like Lisa in this, I was like, okay, this will be a cool... And she doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, I know. It's like... That, it's like, I want to learn... It's like... I just really want to know. It's like, how did you guys get so... You have a full ape society. These fuckers could... Like, one of them started talking at the end of the last movie.
Yeah.
It's
It's like, how much time has passed?
The cities are destroyed. What happened to the McDonald's brother?
Yeah, also, when they go back to the city, I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? Because they show, like, oh yeah, nuclear bombs. I'm like, this painting you have of this city, the buildings are curved. What the fuck?
I don't know.
What do you mean they're curved? It's not Dr. Seuss.
The bombs.
They curved the building.
They mutated the buildings. But,
it just feels like this movie really wants to wrap up how to narratively tie everything together instead of exploring more thematically, which I think is the thing that irks me the most.
Yeah, but
because they're just like, oh, okay, we got to introduce Aldo now because we talked about Aldo 3 movies ago. I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah, it felt like a weird, because I really wish they would have played around with that more and maybe like tried to do something with that, but
or Aldo could have killed Caesar. Aldo could have won.
Yeah.
And it would have been a bummer of an ending, but it would have probably been thematically relevant to the rest of the movie.
But I guess, oh God, I just had a terrible dark thought. But I guess they do technically in this movie confirm that it is Ape multiverse, and it's clear that expands very far with the Caesar trilogy. What they say happened, what happens in the continuity now.
I told Pierre, I'm like, okay, the lady who plays Nova's still alive from the original movies. They should do an Ape multiverse movie where General Thade from the Tim Burton movie shows up, and Nova shows up like in Terminator Dark Fate or whatever, like old lady Nova with a shotgun.
Yeah. It's just like, oh God. I hope the sequels never get to that point. I get maybe once, but they got to be real subtle.
They can do it in a comic.
Yeah,
comics. I don't give a shit how schlocky they get. Whatever you want.
Yeah, do it in the comics. Maybe if you can work out a good rhythm in that, you can move it to the screen.
I've been reading the He-Man comics because I own like 20 of them.
Yeah,
and there's a run that's literally just what ifs. It's like, what if He-Man was what if he was a pirate? It's like, who the fuck cares? I like He-Man, but I'm like, I don't think He-Man has enough lore to then go, yeah, but what if he was a pirate? Okay!
Yeah, but, I mean...
It's like, what if his name was He-Man because he was a caveman? It's like, He-Man. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Is everyone revere Skeletor as like a pirate god because he's got the skull?
I can't even remember. Because it's a what if, there are 4 issues and there's 2 stories in each issue. So they're like 10 or 12 pages each. Yeah. It's like, what are we doing?
Okay.
I spent money on these. Because the other He-Man comics have been fine. Like, they've been fun. And that run was just like, what the fuck am I reading?
If you're going to do a what if, dedicate a whole fucking issue to it.
Literally. I'm like, guys, come on. Can't even give me 32 pages.
Yeah, jeez.
With ads. Come on.
But Battle for the Planet of the Apes, and then it ends with the lawgiver.
Who is that? Is that that's the?
I think.
Who's that supposed to be?
I think that's supposed to be the lawgiver telling the story of Caesar.
Yeah, but is he? It feels like he's implying that he was one of the characters in battle as well. Like, is he supposed to be Virgil?
I have no fucking clue. I think that they were trying to set up...
But he is credited as the lawgiver. Like, that's him. But...
okay. Yeah. And it's like... Yeah, it feels like they were trying to set up a whole... another burst of movies, almost. But then they just failed. It's like, I don't know why you were trying to do that. It seemed like it had been just diminishing returns. Like, you had to see the trajectory. But...
Yeah, I don't like this movie mostly at all. I think there are shining bits of it that I think kind of are incredible, like the ending with Aldo and like his interaction with his son. But the rest of it, I think, is just severely boring and lacking any real identity, which is rough because I even think that Beneath eventually gets his own identity. This one, I just don't feel like it has anything to say.
I think that this movie, like, stands pretty good. I just think it's, like, so many other Planet of the Apes movies, like, have come, like, since and kind of, like, just done its stuff better, so it
Yeah.
feels like it doesn't have an identity, even though I'd say like the root of the identity of some of the other ones, because like there's so much in this that carries over into like specifically Dawn, but even like Kingdom, like the vibe of like the village, kind of like with the houses and the trees.
Yeah.
I guess that happens in Dawn too, but fucking like the going out of commission because like the wife is sick versus like the son being in the coma, and like that's like holding Caesar up and preventing him from leading while the ape uprising happens. Like, so there's like stuff in here that I think, you know, I commend it for trying, and I think it's interesting. I'm glad that it exists, because I think if this movie didn't exist, we probably wouldn't have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which is the best.
Yeah.
So it's like, Plus, Paul Williams is in it, and so is Roddy McDowall. So I'll watch it all the time. Versus, I'd probably, if I could get away with it, I'll never put on Beneath again. Probably, I'll just skip straight to
Just put the last
Escape.
20 minutes of Beneath just at the back half of the first one. See what happens.
I'm sure it'd be still awful. I'm just not a big fan, but we'll see. Maybe it'll get recolored.
I'm gonna recut it all. It's one movie.
I'll wait till
All
somebody
5 of them.
AI is a new Beneath Planet of the Apes, and we can have Charlton Heston.
And then I can kill you.
I'm just the viewer. I'm not the producer.
I'll kill you.
I have to watch the shitty AI Apes movie.
No, you don't.
No, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably watch 30 seconds of it and go, "Yep, that's AI," and then be like, "I'm not interested."
I'm Charlton Heston.
Uh,
Wabble Bebo.
I'm Taylor, as the cigar morphs in his mouth. But yeah, I don't know.
Into like a hot dog.
Yeah. I would give not Beneath. What is this one?
Battle.
I'd give it a 4.
Give it a 3.
Fair. All right, Marky Mark time.
Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, 2001.
Yeah. This is a movie that exists.
When I was a kid, I thought this movie was awesome.
And rewatching, I'm just like, what was I looking at?
Yeah.
I think that the makeup is very cool.
Yes, the makeup's very cool. Even if I don't really like looking at it too much, just because I find it very unpleasing to look at. It's a little too good.
I like it. I think it looks cool. I like looking at it. Which is weird because I think the costuming looks mostly bad.
Yeah.
I think the sets look mostly bad.
The lighting's really bad.
Yeah, I'm just like, what the fuck happened? Because I'm like, 10 out of 10, like, makeup, and then everything else is like a 4 out of 10. Like, I'm just like, what the hell are they doing? I think the music's also pretty good. Even if I don't necessarily think it matches the vibe. But the vibe of this movie is all over the fucking place.
True. More or less kind of the original movie. It's a little different.
Yeah, the humans talk.
Yeah, there's no...
Really messes with, like, the themes of the first movie.
Yeah. Which they never give a canon explanation of that in the classics, do they?
Why they don't.
It's just they regress at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't get like the simian.
I think it's pretty much implying, because they do say that the astronauts brought the plague that killed the cats and the dogs, and it started making the apes smarter. So I think it's I think it's a pretty easy implication for that, which is what just the simian thing is, except the simian we just made it.
True. I just wonder if audiences in the 70s would have like
connected the dots.
Yeah.
You know, I think audiences now are pretty stupid, so maybe.
True. I'm sure they were more likely to catch on to it than I guess we would be. But yeah.
Because at least they'd be like watching the movie instead of like on their damn phone.
True. But yeah, this movie is totally very weird.
Very weird.
It's like
It's really implying that Marky Mark wants to fuck the ape.
a
that he
weird
doesn't.
love triangle with him, Nova, and the.
Is her name Nova in this?
No,
Or-
probably
okay.
not. But yeah, you know she's meant to be Nova. And you know that
She's I think even less of a character than Nova, who didn't talk.
Yeah, kind of.
But there's a lot of like kind of all of their human like companions, like the little kid guy. I'm like, who's this? Why is he randomly talking in the last 20 minutes? The black guy who has like one scene where he fights against them, and then it's just like nothing again. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Tim Roth wants the Zira character, and Zira wants Marky Mark, so she's like, I'm gonna help you back to your ship.
I do think Tim Roth is insane in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I think he believes he was actually an ape in this movie. He has, like, everyone's just, like, walking around normally, and he's like, like, what the fuck is happening? I love him in this movie.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I think Paul Giamatti's also very fun to watch.
Of
I
course.
do not like Helena Bonham Carter in this movie. I think she's really bad. I think she's fine in a lot of
This is the
stuff.
movie where Tim Burton fell in love with her.
Maybe
and
just
cheated
'cause
on
she
his
had
wife, who was also in the movie. Yeah.
But I think Marky Mark is really, really miscasted here.
Marky Mark miscast? I know.
Yeah,
Whenever they
obviously.
try to throw him in a science role for whatever reason, it's always like,
discombobulate.
have you listened to this guy talk? Like, I wouldn't believe he understood a single one of those lines that he just spouted out. But yeah. Yeah, this is a movie.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The ending, it just doesn't make sense. It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah,
And the more you think about it, the more you're just kind of pissed off at it.
It's just like, we need something shocking like the original ending. And it's like, but how would that happen? Like, is it implying that Thade got out, fixed the shuttle, went back through the time vortex, but the time vortex dropped him out in like 1850 and he became Abraham Lincoln? And then, like, why would that be the monument?
I have no idea.
Or did he come out like 10 years prior and all the apes rapidly evolved? Like, why are they... Because they have no technology. And I'm like, but now they're driving cars. What's happening? There's another... There's another line earlier in the movie where he talks about him being a pilot, like the other one. And one of the other human characters says, like, they let you fly there? So they know what a pilot is.
Mm-hmm.
But how would they know what a pilot is? The monkeys don't have technology. They don't have any flying machines. They don't, like, have anything.
The answer to that is you weren't supposed to catch that.
I was just like, usually lines like that, I just throw away. I'm like, oh, it's just it's inconsistent.
Like, that literally destroys your own world. And I feel like there's a lot of lines like that in this. And apparently I was trying to read up a little bit about this one. And apparently, like, the script was done already when Tim Burton came on. And he was on a time crunch and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It also just feels like it's trying to be like a Lord of the Rings-esque movie. Like a high fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
But also like a Star Wars. It just has another struggle of identity. It's just kind of 8 movies at once.
Mm-hmm.
And also 0.
Yeah. It's really bad. This is like... I watched it, and then, like, the next day I was like, oh no, I still gotta watch 6 Planet of the Apes movies. And I was like, wait. I watched one already. I watched Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes yesterday.
You start watching it and you're like, I feel like I've watched this. You're like 30 minutes in, you're like, I did watch it.
What?
Also, another thing that so that's not Earth. It's a different planet than this one.
Yeah.
And it's populated by the old space shuttle. But there are horses on the planet. So it's like, why were there horses on this space shuttle? Why did they bring horses? What could they possibly have needed horses for? It just makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
The twist is stupid, but that twist is fine. I'm more annoyed by the ending twist of being like, look, it's General Thade, but he's Abraham Lincoln.
Yep.
It's just a lot of
I want that comic.
Abraham Lincoln.
I want to know they should do a mini series, like a 6-issue mini series about Abraham Lincoln and what the story is leading to that monument. And they can end it like the battle for the Planet of the Apes where it just cries or something.
But yeah, kind of just pisses me off. A lot of wasted potential here.
Yes.
Some really solid casting and decent performances from a lot of people. I think Michael Clark Duncan's also good in this.
Yeah.
He's kind of like when he was acting, he kind of played a very similar character in a lot of things, but that character was good. Like,
yeah.
I don't mind if it's the same character, if that character is like a solid character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's that other thing where his character kills the like previous general. They're in the fight,
yeah.
and then literally 10 seconds later, he turns good. He's like, "Oh, you lied to me. I'm good now." What the fuck? You just killed the guy.
Yeah.
You just fucking killed the guy.
Oh, let bygones be bygones. Oh, but yeah, Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. This movie sucks.
Yeah, Pierre liked it.
Of course he did. Why wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, let's go through what Pierre liked. Pierre liked the first one, okay.
Good.
Didn't really like the second one, except he did like the ending, I think, if I remember correctly. He liked that third one as well. Mm-hmm. He didn't like the fourth one, except he liked the monologue at the end. Okay. And he didn't watch the fifth. But he liked this one.
Yeah. I'm sure he would have loved the fifth.
Yeah?
Yeah. Would have been like, look at that.
Look, they're on a school bus.
Yeah, they're on a school bus. They're wearing funny little hats and have little like things on their face or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I would give Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, I don't know, like a 3.
I'm also at a 3.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's
the worst thing ever.
No.
It's like watchable. It's just really stupid.
Yeah, it's just, I think if they picked a lane in terms of tone, it would have been better. There's scenes that it feels like it's supposed to be like, it's like too. You need to look at the light again.
Not working this time.
Oh no! God has abandoned you.
Marky Mark's inside my head.
Oh no! But it's like, I feel like all the like little facts about like monkey or ape culture is like, where it's like played straight in like the original movies. It's like always a joke in the Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, they have a bunch of like almost, it feels like the cantina scene from like Star Wars. They're like, look, they're playing the guitar, but they're using their feet.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, look, we're gonna put on it just a little too long. Like every scene was like, look, he's eating, but he's like, oh, they're having sex, but she goes, ah.
Yeah. And all the action scenes are like bouncing around and monkeys screaming, and it's just like, yeah. I think they maybe went a little too far, but maybe it's a little more realistic to the concept. I don't know. It's just, yeah, I felt like tonally it didn't serve this story as well, but yeah,
it's bad, but
it works, I guess. It was successful, wasn't it, financially?
Yeah, it like made a decent amount of money.
Just no sequel because of the critic reception.
Well, and Tim Burton's like, I'm not fucking doing that again. Probably because he didn't like. It's not a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, he just was part of the committee. But yeah,
Mark Wahlberg. I was reading an interview with him, being like, it was around when Rise came out, the first Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
the 2011 one.
I thought you were just talking about a Marky.
No, and he's just like, yeah, the new one. I heard it's good. Ours wasn't. Oh well. Then I'm like, that's a solid thing to say. Like, just just be like, yeah, it's bad. Oh well. Because things happen. You make a bad movie. Oh well.
I didn't fucking write it. It just was in it.
Yeah.
Actor integrity. What's that? I have a career.
Yeah.
But yeah.
In general, really fun franchise.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, I think the newer movies have.
Yeah, I think all three of those are better than most of these movies.
Yeah, I'd say the only one that actually has any sort of contention would be like the original, just for its.
Here, I don't worry, I ranked them all. I'm gonna give you my ranking as soon as Letterboxd loads. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry, it'll load. Don't worry, Thomas.
Okay.
Don't worry.
I'm not worried. What are you doing?
I'm Nova reaching out through the bars in the first movie.
I see.
All right. Worst is the Tim Burton one for me. Then it's probably Battle. Then it's Beneath.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's Kingdom. Then it's probably Conquest. And then I got Rise, which is the first in the Caesar trilogy, the new Caesar trilogy. For people that are listening, I know you know what it is, but like Rise and War.
I know
and
I
Dawn.
didn't know a second ago, but
then it's OG for me, and then I think I like War more than OG.
Oh yeah,
the final Matt Reeves one, and then it's Escape for me, and then it's Dawn, and I think Dawn is significantly better than every other one.
I agree,
because I think Dawn is maybe one of the best like. I think it's one of the best movies of the 21st century.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
I think that movie's insane.
Yeah, I think it definitely like earns its spot amongst like. It might not like be quite as like revered as like Dune or like Lord of the Rings will be in the future, but like I think it's.
But I think it should be.
Yeah, especially if if it's gonna pull off like multiple like decent trilogies, like because even if like. I don't know, the new one, the next two are like as good as Kingdom was. That's still
a solid trilogy.
Better than 90% of other box office slop they release. So.
Oh, like Jurassic Park, it's coming back! It's been 2 years!
Wow, I'm so fucking excited.
People are like, oh, the new one looks good. And then I watch the trailer, I'm like, does it?
It's like, what, more of a horror movie this time, I guess?
It's just they're going back to the original Jurassic Park or something like that. They're like, we gotta take samples of the dinosaurs. Okay.
It's like, I don't care. I haven't cared for a long time.
It's crazy that there are so many bad dinosaur movies. They're dinosaurs. That seems like something that would be easy to make.
You would hope so, but apparently not. But... yeah, I mean, at least we got the OG, and like
I think. Well, I haven't seen the first World since it came out, but I remember thinking it was fine.
Yeah, I think the first World is probably my second favorite one, just because I like. It's like that's what I don't know. It always should have been. It should have been the one where they're trying to open the park, and then one years later where they do open the park. It's like that makes sense to me. Even though I think World is definitely schlocky. Yeah. But way schlockier than the first one was. Like that T-Rex fight and stuff. But it's cool. It's fun. It's a good fun time. Anyway. Yeah, that was Planet of the Apes. We didn't talk about what are we doing next? Oh, wait. I mean, I guess I know what we are doing.
We're going to watch a duology from Fritz Lang called... Die Nibelungen, Siegfried, and Kriemhild's Revenge. They're old Silent Age films from the 20s that I've heard are like really, really influential on like how we view like epic fantasy. Yeah. Even like the screenshots I've seen look insane. Like I'm really excited.
I want to say they had some pull over the kaiju genre as well, because isn't there like...
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. And there might be a giant guy in it.
I think there's like a dragon or something in it. It's like
maybe
a Texas City or something.
But
I might be getting it mixed up with something else.
Yeah, just watching these will be my first Fritz Lang films because I still haven't seen Metropolis or M or Dr. Mabuse. So
yeah, Mabuse the Gambler.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys next time for that.
There are no questions from Pierre. I literally told him last night he's going to kill himself. He's going to hear this. And he's gonna, no.
It was 3 episodes in a row.
He's going to, wait, there's nothing. Devastating. Oh, well, if you have questions, put them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Tell your grandma. We'll see you next time. I'm going to go sneeze.